Hello, lovely ladies. This week's question was a really good one, I thought. It was, hi, Annie, how can I become a better listener? And I thought, that is such a good question because I often think to myself, I could be better at listening to people, like really listening, really understanding what they're trying to share with me, why they're trying to share that message with me, and actually, how am I truly supposed to respond to that message rather than just my automatic reply. So I think the whole concept of listening and being a good listener is actually a really valuable one because it's such a good skill, both personally and professionally. So after thinking about it for a little while, here are some of my tips. First of all, pay attention, all right? To be a good listener, you need to pay attention to what the other person is saying, all right? So obviously, that makes sense, but how often do we get distracted or we're not focused on what they're actually saying? So to do that, we need to actually shut out everything else and think, this person is speaking to me now. I need to be distraction-free. I need to be focusing on what they're actually saying. So, number one, pay attention. Number two, show interest, all right? Show the speaker that you are interested in what they have to say. How do we do that? Eye contact, nodding our head, using verbal cues like the classic, I see, that's a good point. It shows them that you're engaged. And I know you'll agree with me. How often have you spoken to someone and they're just not present? You're speaking and they're kind of looking at you, but their attention just looks like it's somewhere else. And that really sucks, doesn't it? We want to be fully engaged and showing them that we are interested in them. Point number three, I think, is a really good one because I'm not great at it. Avoid interrupting. All right, interrupting the speaker can be seriously seen as disrespectful, and it is. It can disrupt the flow of the conversation, and particularly it distracts their flow, which is really insulting and unkind to the speaker. So allow them to finish their thoughts before responding. If you're like me, you just suddenly hear what they're saying and then instantly you're like, oh, I've got something to share on that. And it's really easy to just interrupt. All right. I am a queen at it. I need to work on it. So therefore, I'm putting it as point number three. Point number four, ask questions. Ask them to clarify what they're actually saying, to demonstrate that you're interested in their perspective. Ask them some open-ended questions. Get them to share more. Do you have an example of that? Can you tell me a situation where that occurred? Can you give me some more detail about that? It shows them that you're super interested, but it also brings out more depth in the conversation that you're having, which is always a good thing. Number five, reflect back. Definitely paraphrasing what the speaker has said can definitely help ensure that you've understood their message correctly, but you don't want to just parrot it back. You just want to say it back in your own words. It shows them that you've actually got their message. So they have confidence to move on, as opposed to I'm speaking and I've got no idea if this person understands what I'm saying. It also makes you actively engaged in the conversation. All right. If you think to yourself, I want to just paraphrase back what I'm hearing, that's such a good point. I love the way you've expressed this or that. It makes you be engaged. So you can't be asleep at the wheel. Number six, be empathetic. Try and put yourself in the speaker's shoes and understand their perspective. Even if you don't agree with it, it allows you to try and understand where they're coming from and what their true perspective is. This is definitely a great way of building rapport and trust with the person because you're actually showing them that you're not challenging immediately what they're going to share, that you have a real respect, that it may be a different opinion and you'd like to really understand what that is. Number seven, practice active listening. All right. It's a technique that involves giving the speaker your full attention and responding in ways that shows that you understand the message. All right. It helps you be a better listener, definitely, because you're choosing with intent to listen, lean in, understand the message. It's definitely going to improve your overall communication. So there are just a few tips from me today. Of course, I'd love to hear some of your strategies. We need to implement better informed strategies that help us improve all of our communication, because good communicators are better at business and life. We're happier, we have less conflict, and I'm all about that. We also build stronger, more engaged relationships, more high quality relationships, which is definitely going to help you personally and professionally. Have a great week.